Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled The Coaching Decision That Changed Michigan and Houston Forever. In December of 2014, Michigan was desperate. Their program was collapsing. The Brady Hoke era ended with a losing season, fan outrage, and one of the most embarrassing stretches in modern Michigan history. Michigan needed a savior, and there was one obvious candidate, a former Michigan quarterback, an NFL coach. A man many fans believed was destined to return, Jim Harbaugh. But what if Michigan didn't wait for him? What if the Wolverines panicked and hired someone else instead? Because if that had happened, Harbaugh might have ended up somewhere completely unexpected, and that single decision could have created one of the strangest playoff matchups in modern college football history. This is the alternate timeline where Michigan hires Tom Herman and Jim Harbaugh builds a national power at Houston. Now let's set the table for the perfect storm of 2014 to understand how this timeline works. You have to understand how chaotic the coaching landscape was in late 2014. Michigan had just fired Brady Hoke. The Wolverines had gone from national power to a program searching for its identity. Fans wanted one thing, Harbaugh. But at the exact moment, another storyline was dominating college football, the rise of Ohio State. The 2014 Ohio State season produced one of the most improbable championship runs ever. A backup quarterback, a playoff run through elite defenses, and an offense that looked completely unstoppable. Behind that offense was one of the fastest rising coaching names in the sport, Tom Herman. Herman's offensive system had just done something nobody expected. It dismantled Alabama. Then it scored 42 points in the national championship game. Overnight, Herman became one of the hottest coaching names in America. And that's where Michigan's panic begins. And that sets the table for the decision Michigan almost made. In the real timeline, Michigan waited. Harbaugh left the NFL, and the reunion finally happened. But imagine a slightly different scenario. Harbaugh's situation with the 49ers drags out longer. The firing takes weeks. Negotiations stall. Michigan's leadership begins to worry. Boosters grow impatient. And meanwhile, Tom Herman is on the path to becoming a star. Michigan's search committee asks a dangerous question. What if we just hire Herman instead? After all, Ohio State just won a national championship running his offense. If that system can dominate college football, why not bring it to Michigan? So in this timeline, Michigan doesn't wait, the Wolverines hire Tom Herman, and the Harbaugh reunion never happens. But that single decision creates a massive ripple because now Jim Harbaugh needs a new job, and the most unexpected opportunity in college football is about to appear. And that sets the table to Houston makes a bold move. When Harbaugh leaves the NFL, the Michigan job is gone, but one program sees an opportunity. A program sitting in the middle of one of the richest recruiting areas in the entire country. A program that believes it can become something bigger. Houston. Houston's booster makes an aggressive pitch. They promise major facility upgrades, full control of the program, and unlimited access to Texas recruiting pipelines. Their argument is simple. If Miami could rise from nowhere in the 1980s, why couldn't Houston do the same? Harbaugh takes the chance, and suddenly one of the most fascinating experiments in college football begins. Jim Harbaugh building a program right in the heart of Texas. And that sets the table to Michigan becoming an offensive experiment. Meanwhile, in Ann Arbor, Tom Herman begins transforming Michigan. For decades, Michigan football had been built around power running, ball control, physical defense. But Herman brings something different spread offense, tempo, quarterback mobility. Suddenly, Michigan looks completely different. Recruiting changes. Quarterbacks and wide receivers become priorities. The Wolverines begin evolving into something the Big Ten hasn't seen before an offensive powerhouse. And the ripple effects of that change spread quickly across the conference. And that sets the table for the Houston breakthrough. While Michigan experiments with offense, Harbaugh begins building something very different at Houston. His philosophy is simple: physical football, elite defense, relentless recruiting in Texas. The program improves quickly, but the moment that truly changes Houston's reputation arrives in 2016, a massive non-conference matchup. Houston versus the most dominant dynasty in the sport, Alabama, led by Nick Saban. For Alabama, it's supposed to be routine. For Houston, it's an opportunity, and Harbaugh's team shows up ready. Houston plays with the physical identity Harbaugh is known for. Their defense controls the line of scrimmage. The offense limits mistakes. And late in the fourth quarter, something incredible happens. Houston beats Alabama. The college football world erupts because when a group of five team beats Alabama, everything changes. And that sets the table for the playoff debate. Houston's rise creates a problem for college football. The playoff system wasn't really designed for this situation. What happens if a group of five program becomes legitimately elite? The debates begin immediately. Analysts argue, fans argue, coaches argue, yet Houston keeps winning. Recruiting surges, attendance increases. Suddenly, Houston isn't just a good story, they're a national contender. And the playoff committee faces a question it never expected: should Houston be included? And this sets the table for the impossible matchup. Eventually, the scenario nobody expected finally happens. Houston breaks into the college football playoff conversation. And when the bracket is revealed, the opponent waiting for them feels impossible: Michigan, the program that started the entire chain reaction. Michigan, led by Tom Herman. Houston, led by Jim Harbaugh. Two coaches whose careers almost intersected in the opposite direction. If Michigan had waited just a little longer, Harbaugh would have been at Ann Arbor, and Herman would have gone to Houston. This moment never happens, but in this timeline, everything lines up, and the playoff matchup becomes one of the strangest coaching stories in college football history. Michigan versus Houston, Herman versus Harbaugh, the coaches who almost traded jobs. College football history is full of moments that could have gone very differently: a delayed firing, a coaching hire made too quickly, a program that chose not to wait. In this alternate timeline, Michigan hires Tom Herman, Harbaugh builds a powerhouse at Houston, and one coaching decision creates a ripple effect that reaches all the way to the college football playoff. Because sometimes the biggest moments in college football history aren't games, they're decisions. And if you enjoyed this alternate history timeline, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments: who would win this playoff matchup, Michigan under Herman or Houston under Harbaugh? And if you want more alternate college football timelines, check out the videos on your screen now. And I'll see you in the next timeline.